Living here on Delmarva, we all know how important it is to preserve the natural beauty that we call home.
And the Delaware National Estuary and Research Reserve in Dover helps us do exactly that. Ryan Spiros is at the St. Jones Reserve this afternoon with more on how all of us can play a role when it comes to doing even better. Brian?
Well, Jimmy and Lisa, there are some simple ways all of us can help the environment right in our own yard, and we'll explain in just a moment. But first, I want to introduce you to Jennifer Holmes, who's the education coordinator here at the Delaware National Estuary and Research Reserve. So, Jennifer, the first thing, if you had to sum it up, what do you guys exactly do here at the reserve?
So we conduct research, we conduct conservation practices and education all about our estuaries, those areas where freshwater and saltwater meet. So the Delaware Bay is an example of a big estuary. And I help to make the information, put it into a form that people can understand. So kind of translate that science for the public.
So that the average person can understand
That's
it.
right.
So, I just mentioned there are some things that we can do in our yard to really help the environment. One of them is putting in a rain garden. People may have heard of them before, maybe not. What exactly is a rain garden, and what's the premise behind it?
Actually, there's a rain garden right beside of us, and this rain garden was built for this property in order to deal with the runoff from our building here at the St. Jones Reserve. You can also put them next to driveways, anywhere that there's an impervious surface. And basically they're a depressed area. Sometimes you have to make them dig them 4 to 8 inches, depending on how deep you really need those to deal with the rainwater. This is actually deeper. But they are filled with native plants, and what they do is they filter out pollutants, they help reduce flooding in our communities, and provide food and shelter for various animals.
So it keeps that runoff from the roof that may have pollutants in it that then from going into the sewer or the road.
That's correct.
The plants
yes.
absorb it. All right. You mentioned native plants. They're in the rain garden, but people, whether they have a rain garden or not, should be putting native plants in their yard. Why is that?
Yes, so we try to encourage people to plant native plants in their landscaping because they are meant to be here. They're indigenous to this area, so they're made especially for this climate. They're adapted to the soil conditions. They have the food that the animals around this area need, and so you can plant various native plants, and they still will look very beautiful, like the blue flag iris that happens to be in this particular rain garden, and the New York ironweed.
So all native plants. The average person may be seeing this and saying, well, how do you tell what's a native plant and what's not? So what's a way for people to find out?
That's a great question, because the average person is not going to know what a native plant is. And so what I would recommend is going to your local nursery. A lot of the local nurseries are now starting to offer native plants, and so I'd ask them for assistance. And also you can look them up online. So looking up by their common name, we here in Delaware have the flora of Delaware, and so you can look up the name of the plant and see if it's native or not.
So you can put that native plant right in your yard. You have a big event coming up this weekend. You're celebrating your 20th anniversary. What's going to be going on here Saturday?
That's right. Our 20th anniversary event will be this Saturday from 10 to 3, and it's called Arts in the Estuary. It's here at the St. Jones Reserve and also the John Dickinson Plantation. And we're going to be having various artists from painters, photographers, performers, all helping us to celebrate that 20th event.
And it's all nature themed
That's
appropriately.
correct. That's correct.
And education, and there'll be a native plant sale as well.
Absolutely.
So if people want native plants, they can come down to it.
Absolutely.
All right, a lot of great information and some simple things we can do in our own yard to help the environment. Jennifer, thank you very much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
And of course, if you would like any of the information we just mentioned or more information about a rain garden in your yard or native plants, just go to our website, delmarvalife.com, and click on the show tab. Jimmy and Lisa, we'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
See, even we can do something.
Even we can do something.
Still ahead on Delmarva Life, out of sight, out of mind. That's how many homeowners think of their septic system, but what if you want to sell your home? We'll tell you why, whether you've had problems with your system or not. You want to find out what's going on underground.
And while we're talking about your home, could your home be making you sick? Dr. Oz tells us.
Here are a few ways to make sure your home isn't making you sick. First, leave your shoes at the front door. You can track in toxins such as lawn care pesticides, which can get trapped in the carpet and contaminate the children. Next, don't microwave plastic. You get small amounts of it in your food when you heat it. Instead, use ceramic, glass, a paper towel, or even wax paper. Some chemicals used in dry cleaning are potentially harmful, so remove the plastic wrap as soon as you can and air your clothes out in fresh air. And radon is a natural radioactive gas that you can't see, smell, or taste. So do your loved ones a favor and check the level in the basement with this simple $10 device. The inside of a home generally has 3 to 4 times the pollutants that are most dangerous to all of us.